Yeah. I feel like kids, pets, hunger, thirst, like anything. Hi, Jen. Anything can take us. It's all good to me. Um, let's see. So, you guys, thank you so much for coming. I'm recording these. So if you have any questions or anything, just know that, we're being recorded. And I think it's funny when I talk and then someone texts and they're like, oh, I just saw like a year ago, April, not just April, but like a year ago, April. They're like, oh, I just saw April, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, that's old and I have no idea what I said. I don't know if recordings are really good, but I do think they're useful for a little while. Anyway, thanks for coming. We're going to work on some fundamentals around pranayama. And I wanted to start kind of from the very beginning. So, and you might want to take notes or you just might want to look at this at another time. So prana, P-R-A-N-A, prana is life force energy. It's chi or ki or sometimes it's mixed up with kundalini, sometimes it's mixed up with shakti. Like sometimes it has exactly the same meanings as other words referring to energy. Doing research on prana, both like internally and in books, externally, and with teachers, from what I've come to understand, we are born with a certain amount of prana. Hi, Gina. Hi, Maureen. So we're born with a certain amount of prana, and we can increase that amount of prana through doing disciplines, especially pranayama, and other disciplines as well. But there's this like reservoir of prana that is ours and ours alone. I thought that was interesting because when I first started learning pranayama, I thought it was all kind of free energy coming and going out of my system. So to know that there is a certain amount that is actually like an individuated amount of prana, I thought that was like excellent trivia. And then we can build on that and we can add to it. And there is also a certain amount of prana that is exchanged as we interact with the world and through our senses. That's okay. So I think that's very interesting. Another interesting thing is prana is life force or energy, and yama means control or discipline or restraint. So it's the control of prana. Pranayama is the practice of the control of prana. Lori, I'm so glad you're here. So pranayama is the control of energy. And a lot of times when Sanskrit words are put together, prana is its own word, yama is its own word. Pranayama may have also been part of this putting the words together business. And pranayama means freedom. It means the opposite of restraint or control or discipline. It means freedom and spontaneity and pranayama or pranayama, either way that it came together, whether it's restraint or freedom, whether it's control or spontaneity, whether it's discipline or, again, spontaneity, what else? Liberation. Anything having to do with like spontaneity, freedom, liberation, or control, discipline. From the discipline comes the freedom. From the control comes the spontaneity. So I think that in most yoga books that you read about it, it's actually referring to the discipline of breath work. Prana, the life force energy, is most easily accessed on air. So it's most easily manipulated within us through our breath, which is how come pranayama always translates to some sort of breath work. And most of the teachers that I have studied with, they'll say, you know, time to do pranayama. And they're referring to their own pranayama that they think is the most important. And it varies from teacher to teacher and lineage to lineage, you know, what they're referring to and what they think is most important or what has been handed down to them. And we're really lucky to have so many options and so much information. And so many exercises are available to us. So prana is life force energy. Pranayama means breath, disciplining the breath. And disciplining the breath is disciplining the prana. And when you discipline or control the prana, usually you're adding to, well, always you're adding to the amount of energy that we can process. The prana moves through tubes in the body. And these tubes, these energetic tubes, just like an artery has 3 layers that make up the walls of the artery, there's 3 layers of tissue. These tubes have 3 layers of energy that make up the energetic tube. And nadis, N-A-D-I, nadis can be as big around as a silver dollar. That's sushumna. That's the one that runs right up in front of the spine. And, you know, there's a lot of people studying the vagus nerve now. Is that what it's called? Vagus. And sushumna seems to correspond to the vagus nerve. And then Ida and Pingala are about as big around as a quarter, and they spin around sushumna. And they are like masculine, feminine, opposite ends of a magnet, creation, destruction. They are 2 very different types, I don't have a word there, different types of energy. One theory is that Kundalini rising, and a lot of this language is borrowed from different traditions. So just kind of go with it for now. For a couple of ideas around Kundalini rising or getting your prana to really go crazy all at once, that's my interpretation. Ida and Pingala that go around Sushumna squeeze inside of Sushumna. So Sushumna has Ida and Pingala inside of it, and that is that Shaktipat, or that instant enlightenment, or that instant falling into vastness or meditation, or, you know, the infinite. Those kind of quick sensations that go from, oh, it's me, I'm alive, I have a name, I'm sitting here, I can feel my clothing on me too. Oh, I haven't been here, what time is it? Those kind of experiences, some people think that Ida and Pingala squeeze inside of Sushumna. And that's just so much energy in that one channel that that's how that opens up. This is all like super intellectual, but it's also nice to just know that other people are thinking about it, have practiced it, and have mapped it out. The highest form of pranayama is when you make, I mean, you know, of course I read this. I'm not saying this is 100% what I believe. What do I think? Let me think about this. What do I think is the highest form of pranayama? I personally think the highest form of pranayama, I think it's a pretty good trick when people don't have to breathe for like 8 hours. I think that's amazing. Or even 8 minutes. Levitation. Levitation is, what is it on medication when people are like, oh, side effect. Levitation is a side effect of pranayama. That's so cool. Levitation isn't like, oh, you are so spiritual because you know how to levitate. Levitation is like, oh yeah, you must, if you can do that, you must practice pranayama. Hannah, I was just saying that levitation is a side effect of pranayama, and that I think that's funny. So anyway, for me, like the side effects are probably the highest because I'm very mundane about all of this, but I do love all of the information. So one of the pieces of information is that the highest form of pranayama is when you yourself figure out your own energetic map. And there are some helpful hints. The nadis tend to be much more traditional than the chakras. The chakras get a lot of attention these days, and the chakras are there, but they're part of the nadi system. And some people say there's 10, some people say there's 6, some people say there's 9. Like everyone has some sort of map that they're kind of going off. But the highest form of pranayama is when you know your own energetic body. And just like, you know, I've been doing privates with a person who's really, really tall, and they have the longest ankle to knee length that I'm ever around. And so I'm sure that the energetic body is like that too, where we are not all going to be exactly the same in our energetic body, just like none of us are exactly the same in our physical body. Okay, that's kind of like the back history of pranayama. I think that's most of it. So now I'd like to talk, this week we're going to work on some really basic fundamental pieces of pranayama. So now I would like to talk about the 4 temperatures of pranayama. The 4 temperatures of pranayama. If you inhale and exhale through the nose, like ujjayi, right? In and out through the nose, like bastrika, in and out through the nose. That's a hot breath. If you inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth, that is a warm breath. If you inhale through the mouth and exhale through the nose, that is a tepid or lukewarm breath. And then if you inhale and exhale through the mouth, that is a cold or a cooling breath. And when I first started really working with, when I second started, my first start was purely Paraka Kumbhaka, Richaka Kumbhaka. My second start was, what is pranayama? What do all these words mean? What am I doing? Where does this come from? Like I started researching it. And the first thing I did was I made this little list, and then I tried to find it. I tried to just notice it in my daily life. When these breaths would occur naturally. And if you're kind of paying attention, you will find them. The most unusual is inhaling through the mouth and exhaling through the nose. That's considered the most unnatural breath. And they all affect the temperature of the nadis. And this temperature, go ahead.
In swimming, it's inhale mouth, exhale nose.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Ah, there you go. See, I'm only doing the breaststroke when I swim.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. Keep going.
No, you didn't. You've totally found one. That's so great.
I have a question too.
Yeah, go for it.
So when we are practicing asana, do we not use our mouth because we want it to be hot the whole time?
Yeah. Oh. Yes, we want to burn off all of the impurities.
Okay.
So we keep our mouth closed. Yeah. Ujjayi. Yep.
Kathy, this is great. And can we go back to the energetic body map? Like theoretically, what would I mean, I assume you would figure out your energetic body map over time, but what would these gurus or people, I don't even know if I could ever get there, like what would you be trying to look for within your own body?
I would have to say I don't know. I have seen a very nice drawing of the Nadis, and it looks basically like a character sitting like this, and then it looks like the nervous system. It looks like a map of the nervous system. And I really think that we just have to go in and explore it all and feel it and just go with the sensations. I don't have a visual map like I have 10 chakras. I love the 10 chakra system, but I can't say that I have found that within myself. So I'm still in kindergarten with all of this. You guys, sometimes I just want to tell you this, like in tennis, the best tennis player is not necessarily the best tennis teacher. But a person who loves tennis but really struggles with it, like isn't good at it, they're a great tennis teacher. So that I'm kind of in kindergarten with yoga is actually beneficial for the amount of information and practice. I get to practice a lot and I accumulate information. So I don't know the answer to your question, really. I know that I've seen pictures, and the more I look, the more I find many, many different drawings and paintings of energetic systems.
But I think,
Go ahead.
I mean, you just said feel your body or feel your sensations. So that seems wise enough. Like you just feel where your energy is flowing. It seems a little amorphous, but I can go with it.
Yeah. Well, and sometimes I'm like, whoa, I really feel like wavy or like I'm moving, like I do feel things. I just don't have a painting that I've made of what I feel yet. And I don't paint very often. Okay, so back to the nadis. A couple more things about the nadis and the chakras. Every single joint in your body has a chakra. Every single time an artery splits into a smaller two path, now it's two more arteries or capillaries or whatever it's splitting into. Every time it splits, there's a little swirl of energy, and that is a very small chakra. Every time a vein starts to come together to carry the blood back into the body, that also forms a swirl and forms a very, very small chakra. A chakra is just a swirl of energy. The nervous system is full of them. I don't even know about the glandular system and the endocrine system and all of those. Like what I was reading didn't have information on those, but basically our whole body is just a bunch of little chakras. Like it got to the point where I was like, okay, every single cell is a chakra. I'm cool with that. Right?
But what's the difference? You've probably said this and I missed it. The chakras versus the nadis. What is the difference?
So chakras are little swirls of energy, and nadis are tubes, and also the tubes can go around the chakras, or they can go through, pierce the chakras. Like, I don't know, we're going to have to find out. We're probably not going to find out tonight. You might.
Wait, I think that the tubes carry the energy, but then the chakras are like you said, like vortexes, like where maybe the energy comes, like the push,
So it depends on which lineage you're getting the information from. Yes. Some people believe that the chakras actually collect information into the body. The chakras kind of breathe. They collect information in, and they also send information out. So the chakras are another communication tool with our environment. I love that one. And some of the nadis go straight through the vortex and pierce the chakras, and then some of them go around the chakras. So I don't personally understand how a chakra exists without a nadi feeding it some energy, but I just haven't gotten there yet. This is just like cool trivia. Another cool thing is the nadis, the tubes, if they get a buildup of soot, the name of that soot, it's gray soot, and the name of that energetic soot is karma. And I just love that. And so doing pranayama, you can get rid of the karma. And also doing asana, you can get rid of the karma. And mudras and kriyas. All of those get rid of the soot that can build up inside of the nadis. I like that. Let's see. Okay, so now let's talk about actually practicing pranayama. Practicing pranayama for yourself, you want to be comfortable, and you know yourselves, and I know you, and I trust all of you completely, so I'm not worried about you at all. Teaching pranayama to other people can be a little bit tricky. People are going to faint, people are going to get manic, people are going to, what else has happened? Let's see, people have fainted, people have gotten really manic, people may attach, they may attach to you because you teach them pranayama, and pranayama is powerful, and instead of attaching to themselves, they may attach to you. So I'm just saying, be a little bit careful about teaching pranayama to other people. And people who are fragile, you don't want to do any holds with. So no kumbhaka. Kumbhaka means hold. So it's an inhale hold or an exhale hold. No kumbhakas for people who are fragile. The most would be a pause, like an inhale, pause, exhale, pause. That would be a kumbhaka for someone who's fragile. And another thing is, in the Western world where I mostly live, people who want to learn pranayama from me are often already fragile. Not us, but like people who contact me kind of individually, they're like, I've had emphysema for 6 years, I can't handle it, can you help me? And I'm like, I'll come over, we'll see. So there's that. The other thing to be cautious of is pregnancy. Women who are pregnant have 1,000 times as much energy processing in their physical system as people who are not pregnant. 1,000 is a loose term, but a lot. They don't need to do pranayama. And the baby likes what the mother is already doing. The baby is helping regulate the breath of the mother. So for the mother to regulate the breath doesn't always go well for the baby. So just let the baby handle it. Be pregnant. Don't worry about pranayama. Take a nap or something. Eat. If you're pregnant, eat, take a nap, have fun. Yeah, that's that. So I wanted to start off this evening with you guys, this was a long intro, I'm sorry, with the most basic breath. And that is an inhale equal to an exhale. And there's no holding going on. So we're going to do first in and out through the nose. It's pretty much ujjayi, up to you whether you put your bandhas on or not. But this week we're going to build from simplest to now we're ready to go. So sit or lie down, take an inhale through the nose, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And automatic breathing. Beautiful. The next one, we're going to go in through the nose, out through pursed lips. So in through the nose, out through pursed lips. Yeah, go ahead, Jen.
I gotta go.
I love you.
Thank you. I love you too.
See you tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah. Bye.
Awesome. When you're ready, in, out through pursed lips. In, out. 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 Automatic breathing. And release. The next one is going to be in through the mouth, out through the nose. When you're ready, in through the mouth, out through the nose. In, out. In, out. In, out. In, out, in, out, in, out. One more, in, out. Automatic breathing. And then the last set that we will do is in and out through the mouth. Lips are as pursed as they need to be to take this amount of time. So in and out of the mouth when you're ready. In, out, 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 in, out. Automatic breathing. And release. Another important thing when we make our own pranayama practices and our own patterns, the nadis, especially at the end of the day, the nadis can be carrying a lot of extra heat. So, and also some pranayama is really heated in order to purify, and then at the end it's cooling to kind of set everything to neutral. And in and out of the mouth is automatically, naturally cooling. So we went from hot to warm to tepid to cool. So whenever you're doing pranayama with other people or whenever you're making your own patterns, because there's an infinite number of ways to do pranayama, at the end, you always want to have something cooling. And there are a couple of pranayamas that are designed to cool down the nadis, and then there are a few ways that it happens just naturally in our, everyday movement. And in and out of the mouth is one of those ways. Questions, answers? Sorry, we went over time. I won't have to talk as much the rest of the week.
I have a question.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't, why is it that when pranayama is taught, like first time beginners, it's just taught with no holds? Like the holds, I think is, the first time I learned, first time I did pranayama, I got so hostile and I just stayed away from it for so long. I thought that is the most horrifying experience, to be holding your breath on someone else's count. And like, it was miserable. And it was Christine I did it with. And I told her after, like, I never want to do that again. I don't know why anybody would find that enjoyable. And it just like, it's so, maybe this is part of learning your energetic body, but it's so delightful to me to do it with just that little rise up and pause, come down and pause, rise up and pause. And this whole thing about, and I'm a swimmer, so I do restrict my breath in the water. Like, that's a thing, And even in that context, I'm not crazy about it, Like, I'm like, oh, here comes that next breath. I love that part.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious, like with beginners, why would you include holds?
I think that with beginners, people include holds. At least I know that I was initiated this way into pranayama, and I know that I'm guilty of this. Like, it's kind of like, look, this is a thing.
Yeah.
It's different. It's not just breathing or gasping that I saw a mouse, or shrieking that something fell, like that an apple tree branch fell on my body or something. Like it isn't automatic. It is something bigger. It is something different. It's kind of, it's kind of like when people want to impress us with asana. Where I'm like, yeah, that's totally fun and cool. I'm so psyched that your connective tissue is 10 times longer than mine.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting comparison, because I also found the asana practice to kick my ass super hard. But it didn't make me, when I was first learning it, I was like, oh my God. But emotionally, it didn't affect me the way pranayama did. I don't know, just knowing that people, it seems like it's a common response that people, when they're new to it, have emotional reactions that are usually kind of negative. They don't, it seems like, I don't know, I shouldn't say most people, but it seems like maybe it's just the ones who have a negative reaction that we hear from. People who like it, or maybe they just don't shout about it as much.
I think actually that holding your inhale in and holding your exhale out, no matter what the context, no matter whether it's alternate nostril or you're lying down or it's like, super serious. I don't think that is comfortable for anyone in the beginning.
Yeah.
Not anyone, but 99% of us aren't thrilled about that when we first start.
Well, I've never done it on my own count.
Go ahead.
I've never done it on my own count. It's always on someone else's count. So I wonder, like, maybe I should try it and just use my own count.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's an idea.
I do feel like every pranayama exercise that I've been taught, I'm giving it, so I'm going to tell this really fast. I used to take these classes. We had to do inhale, hold, exhale, hold for 45 minutes to his count before we could take a break and then do asana for 45 minutes. And it was just the only way I could get into asana class. So I put myself through this. It never occurred to me that I was supposed to be practicing this on my own. I never thought of that. And one day he yelled at everyone, I can tell you guys are not practicing, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, I didn't even know I could practice this on my own. Like, it never occurred to me to do that by myself.
Yeah.
It was so hard. But I feel like that's some of the, like, you have to be disciplined, you got to get in there. You got to, like, work for it. And that doesn't need to be the approach.
it is like breath boot camp. That's kind of how it feels to me. I mean, it doesn't always, like, I love the inhale and the exhale. I love doing that. And I love doing that seated instead of, like it's wonderful in asana practice, but it's so nice to just have it be about the breath. And so that first inhale, exhale through the nose, I was like, oh, this is like a sweet massage. Like, this is so good. I don't want to do anything different. I just want this,
When we do just those four types of breath, and they're even, I can completely, like, they're calm. Like the hot one in and out through the nose, it's not overly hot. The cold one in and out through the mouth, it's very cooling.
Yeah, it is.
Like we can all feel that.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, we'll leave it here, and maybe I'll see you tomorrow. And if not, I'm trying to record these every day this week, so I just hope I keep remembering.
So every day at 7:00 this week?
Well, every day is 4 days. Yeah, Wednesday through Saturday night. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Great. I love you, Jackie. I love you, Nicole. I love you, Maura. I love you, Gina. I love you, Maureen. I love you, Lori. I love you, Hannah.
Love you, Kat. Thank you.
Thank you. Sweet dreams, everybody.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks, Kathy.
Thank you. Love you.